You wake up to the lasting sensation of your mother prodding your arm. The milky glow from the dark sky's haze illuminates her silhouette as she whispers, "Time to wake up. Auditions are in an hour." Clumsily, you push yourself up and feel the sting of your eyes evaporate as they adjust to the dimly lit bedroom, littered with piles of unboxed toys and stuffies still bearing price tags. Mommy had let you buy them months ago, but you hadn't found the time to play with them. The brightest light pours from the numbers on the digital clock, 3:30 a.m. Papers lay in a stack on your lap as you sit in the passenger seat, but you have no need to look at its contents. You've already remembered your lines from hours of repetition. You could practically rehearse them in your sleep if you had to. You have 2 auditions today, one for a true crime documentary and one for a sitcom. You're not sure which to be more nervous about, but either way, your nerves rumble so heavily in your chest that you can't even bite into the packaged muffin Mommy packed for breakfast. After about an hour and a half of sitting in a poorly heated warehouse amongst a couple other children napping on their mother's laps, the casting director emerges from the forest of lighting umbrellas and green screens to begin the audition. Mommy pinches your arm and gives you a stern look before you leave her side. You know what you have to do. The first audition goes well. You had to kneel beside a dummy, holding its arms and pretending it was your dead father. You wailed and cried and shook with despair as a group of adults watched you. Tears stream down your cheeks, which you wipe off after the show is over. You booked the role. The next audition is 2 hours away, and Mommy forgets to ask if you need to use the bathroom before you leave the studio. You clench your legs together as she waves in and out of traffic along the 405. The next audition did not go so well. There are 12 other children trying out for the same role. The casting director tells you to pretend to play hopscotch. When you don't know how to play, she tells you just to pretend like you're dancing, like one of your favorite stars on television, but you don't have a favorite star on television. When you don't book the role, the director tells Mommy she's good in some respects, but she needs to want the part. She needs to want to act. "But she does want the part," Mommy exclaims, unconvincingly. "She loves acting. It's her passion." The ride home is silent, but Mommy's tight grip on the wheel and jolty swerves indicate her mood. You know you won't be able to have ice cream after supper tonight, or have $5 on Saturday to spend on gas station candy. Your stomach drops lower and lower, and you watch the world pass by the car windows. This is the tame reality of the majority of child actors in Hollywood today. While aspects of it have certainly changed over the years, the sentiment remains in the chests of many young children. The need to please their parents, the need to succeed. Major entertainment studios across the world foster similar work environments to their child actors, and unfortunately this issue persists even today. Despite child labor being outlawed in the United States decades ago, lingering shadows of these abusive cycles continue to ravage Hollywood, and time again we watch a similar narrative unfold. The world of child acting is highly unregulated and can cause serious harm to innocent youth through financial exploitation, mental and emotional manipulation, and various forms of abuse. In this age of progression and activism, it is time for the outdated laws and faulty systems built to protect children to be changed and rebuilt. We no longer can afford to continuously fail our youth. To understand the inherent issues prevalent in Hollywood today, it is necessary to venture back to its not-so-humble beginnings. While black and white films have been around since the early 20th century, It wasn't until the 1920s and 30s that the true profitability of cinema was introduced to the world. Hollywood quickly rose to the height of the entertainment industry for its illustrious vistas and tameable marketplace, manifesting itself as the wondrous dream-delivering hub many came to see it as. Million-dollar industry pioneers Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, aka MGM, not only profited from the projects they released, but also became self-sufficient in the dreams they sold. Thousands of young, aspiring men and women flung themselves into Hollywood in hopes of making it big in motion pictures across the country. Once the movie moguls such as Louis Mayer of MGM reeled in the incoming talent, they in turn gained complete and utter control over their employees, both on and off the screen. And so was born the exploitative nature of Hollywood and its elites. The desire to become famous, to revel in the luxuries that the booming industry had to offer, was used as strings to puppet and control. Major studio executives did not prioritize the well-being of their employees, but the unfathomable amount of wealth they amassed from doing their jobs. Indeed, the ever-so-seducing nature of America's largest entertainment industry promised wealth and fame beyond the imaginations of many Americans at the time. Anybody that believed they had a shred of talent or beauty they could exchange for a career in Hollywood would certainly take the opportunity. Between both world wars as well as the economic disaster of the 1930s, life for the majority of Americans was harsh and grueling. Who wouldn't exchange their life of financial instability and taxing labor for public adoration and glamorous comfort? While everybody else spent their lives tirelessly working and living on food stamps and war rations, all some lucky Americans had to do was sign a 7-year contract for millions of dollars. With this, the industry was able to further dig their claws into the already controlling nature, and this mode of management continued for decades to come. The truth is, and was, that many people will do whatever it takes to become rich and famous.
Sparkle jump rope queen, you're my little sparkle. Feels like sugar in me. Feels like sugar in me. Lights, camera, action. You know I can't make it on my own. Put me in a
One of the largest forms of abuse in the entertainment industry among actors and actresses is financial exploitation. Tale after tale recounts the same story with a different person. A poor parent struggles to feed their children, then turns to the film industry to exchange their young child's labor for security and stability. One of the most notorious cases of this unfortunate occurrence was with Jackie Coogan. The young child actor got his start with Charlie Chaplin in 1919, starring in major motion pictures such as The Kid, The Ragman, and Mr. Peck's Bad Boy. He was brought into the industry by his father, who essentially sent his boy off to work and spent the majority of his paycheck. After the death of his father, the then 21-year-old Jackie Coogan finally gained control of his bank account, where he found that all of his earnings he had made while acting had been spent by his father. After appealing to a state court, Jackie was able to recover some of his earnings, but more importantly, his case instituted the very first version of the Coogan Law. After what had happened to Jackie became known by the Supreme Court, a law was passed in California, then all other states, that required all parents of child actors to open a savings account and save a portion of their earnings instead of being in complete control of all of their child's earnings. While this was certainly a step in the right direction, the Coogan Law left many loopholes and flaws that left child actors vulnerable to their parents yet again. Today, the Coogan Law, quote, requires that 15% of all minors' earnings be set aside in a blocked trust account commonly known as a Coogan account. This is one of the only laws regulating child acting and unfortunately leaves many opportunities for children to be exploited by their guardians. For example, one of the most famous child actors of our time, Macaulay Culkin, was unfortunately a victim of financial exploitation by his parents. The Culkins were a large family from New York, and his parents, Kit and Patricia, struggled to feed all 8 of their children. At age 4, young Macaulay began acting in various small roles for major productions, but really achieved the height of his fame after starring in the movie Home Alone. While at just age 10 years old, he was able to transform the lives for himself and his siblings. It quickly became obvious that his parents were taking advantage of their young child prodigy.
I have 5 favorite words, 5 favorite phrases. Our lunch, it's a wrap, see you next Monday, see you next week, it's been nice working with you.
After years of both psychological and physical abuse he suffered at the hands of his parents, Macaulay at just 15 years old took action. He sued his parents to remove them as his guardians, therefore blocking their access to his $1 million fortune. While some may argue Macaulay escaped more easily from financial exploitation than other child actors had, the very presence and normalization of this abuse in the entertainment industry continued to rear its ugly head. While the prior examples of financial exploitation refer to incidents that occurred over 30 years ago, the problem still runs rampant. Regretfully, we continue to witness the cyclical effects taking devastating tolls on child actors today. Yet another result of protective legal shortcomings recently manifested with one of the stars of Toddlers in Tiaras. This pageant reality show aired on TLC between 2009 to 2016 and relied heavily on young female contestants and their mothers. The inherent toxicity and inappropriate nature of the environment fostered for these young participants rose controversy in itself, but the issue I want to discuss occurred nearly 15 years after the series' initial release. Alana Thompson, known on the show as Honey Boo Boo, recently went viral on the internet after exposing her own mother for stealing millions of dollars of her earnings. The now 18-year-old, who starred on various TLC shows starting at the age of 6, came out saying that upon being accepted into a Colorado university, only had $33,000 saved from her television earnings. Her mother, who had previously opened up about her drug abuse, admitting to spending over $900,000 on her drug addiction in the past year. What makes the situation even more frustrating is that there are no technical legal breaches that Thompson can accuse her mother of. Because the current Coogan Law merely suggests that 15% of all earnings be siphoned off for child actors in the state of Florida, her mother faces no legal repercussions. Because the law merely suggests that a 15% profit for the child be made, Alana's mother was never legally required to fulfill the standard. Most of Alana's money was spent on the family's livelihood, and then her mother's more selfish endeavors. While financial exploitation is cruel and immoral, especially when committed by a parent unto their own child, this occurrence, in some regards, is the least of a young child actor's worries. The real harm comes from the manipulation, stress, and responsibility it elicits. One of the largest aspects of abuse associated with the child star is psychological. This is rooted in the pressure adults enlist in their children, the pressure to be perfect, the pressure to work hard, and the pressure to produce something marketable and saleable. Children become units of profit, workhorses that amass wealth and change lives. They are no longer sentient, developing, impressionable beings navigating life for the first time. In the earlier days of Hollywood, it possibly could be argued that major producers weren't aware of the way their treatment of child actors would later affect them as adults. While many of us know Judy Garland from her legendary roles in early films of the 30s and 40s, she herself likely remembers the name Judy Garland as a stage name, which elicited years of torturous abuse. The horrors faced by the young Wizard of Oz actress are extensive and dark. Not only was she physically abused and accosted while on set of the film, but her life was taken under the control of her bosses and higher-ups. One of the many demonstrations of this was when Garland was just 12 years old under the employ of Louise Meyer. She was put on diet pills, and a chaperone was hired to trail her every move to ensure that she didn't eat too much. All of this is even more disturbing when it was revealed that disordered eating later played a role in her death at age 47. Despite not fully knowing the extent to which the abuse of child stars would later impact them, it is likely that these early studios had some idea, but were simply driven by the promise of success, fame, and money. Unfortunately, Judy Garland was far from the only victim of on-set torture as a girl. Another tragic tale of Hollywood corruption surrounds none other than Drew Barrymore. Perhaps one of the most devastating stories of child abuse among child actors of our time was suffered at the hands of Barrymore's own parents. Her first role in the Steven Spielberg production of E.T. catapulted her into stardom, transforming the lives of her and her parents at the young age of 7. With her earnings young Drew amassed as a young child star, her mother began to indulge in drug and alcohol-fueled party lifestyle, often bringing her daughter with her to such unsavory sabbaticals. With the growing pressure to earn more to support her family, along with the inappropriate exposure to nightlife, Drew developed substance addictions before she was 13 years old. It wasn't until after she exited a rehabilitation program that she was advised to emancipate herself from her parents, becoming her own legal guardian at the age of 14.
Those two doors. And when you go through those two doors, you do not come out. And I was there for a year and a half. And I hated it. I kicked, I screamed. One minute you're at movie premieres and clubbing, and the next minute you're in a full-blown institution with barbed wire everywhere, and you can't get out.
This forced maturity expected of young actors and actresses crossed many moral and ethical boundaries, and it seems to negatively impact a large population of children's development. Arguably one of the darkest and most depraved avenues of Hollywood childhood is the heinous sexual abuse rampant in the entertainment industry. While other aspects of child acting are equally as impactful and just as negative as other cruelties inflicted upon them, the following crimes against children have resulted in studio executives and producers going behind bars. While there are sadly many stories venturing all the way back to the beginning of Hollywood, it is vital to bring attention to the survivors who have spoken out today and help serve justice for others. The first instance to be discussed is that of Brooke Shields. At just age 12, the young actress was cast in the 1978 film Pretty Baby, a story about a 12-year-old prostitute in New Orleans. On top of the grim subject matter and the uncomfortable scenes required for the young Brooke to shoot, she recounts being coerced into doing things that traumatized her. Shields recalls being directed to make out with one of her adult male co-stars, saying, "Every time Keith tried to do the kiss, I would scrunch my face up. and Lewis got upset with me. The actress alleged that the producer verbally abused her into acting out sexual acts with her much older co-star, and even convinced the 12-year-old to pose nude for photography, which would be included in the film. Brooke Shields has spoken out against this exploitation she and many others faced as a child, and even produced a documentary called Pretty Baby, where she goes in detail about instances of sexual harassment and exploitation. However, unlike in Shields' case, not all SA can be speculated through the screen of movies and television. Many child actors are abused by their adult supervisors behind the scenes. This issue of child predators taking advantage of Hollywood starlets stems from the very origins of Hollywood's core, the desire for success, fame, and money. While children are placed in situations where they take on the responsibility of financially supporting themselves and their families, they don't often speak out about their experiences in fear of disappointing producers, getting dropped from the industry, and letting their family down. In the recent docu-series released on Max called Quiet on Set, employees, writers, producers, and actors come forward sharing their negative experiences while working for the kids' network Nickelodeon. The fifth episode dived into Drake Bell's story, the teenage actor and musician on the set of multiple Nickelodeon shows. Drake Bell has shared the devastating and disturbing details of the sexual abuse he suffered while acting. The now 37-year-old revealed that when he was just 15 years old, he was harassed, assaulted, and raped on many occasions by the Nickelodeon dialogue coach, Brian Peck. While this is disgusting and truly awful, it is important to remember that Drake Bell himself was brought to court in 2021 for attempted endangering children and disseminating matter harmful to juveniles. Both aspects of Bell's story are horrible, but his experiences are representative of the harm caused by the toxic childhood abuse and how it affected him later in life. There are countless tales of former child stars who, quote-unquote, went crazy or broke down, but the realities of those victims should be saved for another video, another day. For now, it is important to attack the problem at its source, the unfair and abusive treatment of childhood actors. In another episode of the series Quiet on Set, a victim came forward detailing her experience with a production assistant, Jason Handy. The victim, who used the alias Brandy to protect her identity, was a background actress at the time, appearing on various Nickelodeon productions. The actress, along with many other child actors, developed a friendly relationship with Jason Handy. Unfortunately for Brandy, however, she later received an explicit email from Handy, causing her mother to pull out of the industry altogether. According to the LAPD, Handy was arrested and charged with accosting, soliciting, and enticing a child under the age of 16 with the intent to induce the child to commit immoral acts, along with various other charges from previous accounts of predation. The downright dangerous and exploitative environment fostered on the set of Nickelodeon and many other sets across Hollywood have finally come to light and hopefully will spark some sort of change to prevent even more children from falling victim to the controlling abuse of the industry. After learning about all of these tragic accounts of young child stars and witnessing the harm and damage that emerges from it, you may be wondering what is being done to combat these issues. While there is still a long road of amendments to be made, some organizations and programs have been instituted with a mission of protecting young participants in the entertainment industry. The Biz Parents Foundation is a nonprofit organization based in California dedicated to providing insight and resources to help protect children in the entertainment industry. Through their website and social media, they offer many services and advice articles to both parents of child actors and employers of child actors in order to educate supervisors about laws, risks, and news. The foundation also hosts seminars and workshops designed to better equip adults to ensure that child actors feel safe, comfortable, and cared for while on set. This organization has done many great things for the acting community and continues to help combat issues in the industry. Another way some approach changing child protection laws are with petitions. One petition in particular was written in 2021 and is continuing to accept signatures. The petition was created to convince legislatures to enforce child labor laws on kidfluencers, or young online presences that may be vulnerable to exploitation. Akin to children who grew up under the Hollywood limelight, a more recent but very similar phenomenon is occurring online.
Here in my house, we pride ourselves on gentle parenting. So here's how I effectively manage a tantrum. Hey, are you pooping right now? Are you hiding because you're pooping? Oh, you want some privacy? Yeah, I don't think so. That's going on TikTok. Hey everyone, thanks for joining our live. Come here, baby. Come on. Come here. Everyone wants to see you. She's playing right now. Am I worried about predators saving videos of my kids? No. No, not at all. It's not really my job to worry about that. Like, there are people out there who care about that sort of thing, and it's like their job to protect kids online, and it's not my job. Just play with your toys or whatever. Here's our nighttime routine, starting with bath time. Hey, good morning, sweet. Can you smile and act like you're excited to see me? Let's try that again. Hey, good morning, sweet.
Parents monetize images and videos of their children by posting them online for millions to view, ignoring the non-consensual nature of this or the potential danger they are putting their children in. To read more about the petition or to add your signature to it, scan the QR code on the screen or search Enforce Child Labor Laws on Kidfluencer Families by A.D. Grass. As many of us know, child abuse is certainly not something that is unique to the entertainment industry. Hollywood is just one of the contenders that gets away with this workplace toxicity and illegal practices. If you or someone you know is a victim of abuse of any kind, especially if you sense that their life is in danger, please do not hesitate to contact the authorities. If you or someone you know is not in immediate danger but wishes to seek help and other resources, the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline may answer some of your questions. You can also visit their website for further information, including counselors, doctors, and other modes of professional help. If you wish to make a donation to the Child Help National Child Abuse Organization or any of the programs previously listed, feel free to visit their websites listed in the Works Cited section below the video. There are many ways that you alone can contribute to the change and justice brought to the system, even if it is simply educating yourself and others about laws, dangers, and experiences. I sincerely hope that you are all able to extract something from this video, and I thank you for watching.